12 years. That's how long it's been since I last saw my brother. 12 years since he called me trash, threw a punch, and walked out of my life like I was a stain on his shoes. Back then, I didn't have much. A beat-up car, 2 duffel bags, and a dream that no one believed in, especially not him. But let's rewind. Before the money, before the mansion, before the silence that felt like peace, there was chaos and family, the kind that breaks you before the world ever gets the chance. I was 22. My brother Jason was 30. He had the job, the wife, the shiny house in the suburbs, and the ego to match. I was still trying to figure out what to do with my life. I'd just graduated from community college, juggling part-time gigs, hoping to start my own small business. We weren't close, but we were family. At least that's what I thought. One night, I got a call from him. His voice was sharp. Urgent. Can you come over? We need to talk. When I got there, his wife Amanda was sitting on their leather couch, arms crossed, eyes cold. Jason didn't even say hello. He just stood there with that look, half disgust, half disappointment. What's going on? I asked. Amanda spoke first. You've been asking Jason for money again, haven't you? I blinked. What? No, She cut me off. You're always asking for help. You need to get your act together. Stop being a leech. Jason didn't defend me. He just looked at me and said, You're becoming a problem, Matt. Those words hit harder than any punch he ever threw later that night. But yeah, he did hit me. When I tried to explain that I'd only asked him for advice about starting a business, not money, he exploded, accused me of being ungrateful, said I was a failure. Then, when I tried to walk away, he shoved me. One thing led to another, and before I knew it, his fist connected with my face. I remember falling, tasting blood, seeing his wife standing behind him, smiling. That smile is burned into my memory. The kind of smile that says, You'll never be one of us. After that night, I packed my things and left the city. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. I didn't have much. $312 in my bank account, a cracked phone, and a head full of shame. I spent the first few months sleeping in my car, showering at gyms, taking any odd job I could find, warehouse work, night shifts, deliveries, you name it. And through it all, one thought kept me alive. I'll prove them wrong. 2 years later, I started a small cleaning business. Not glamorous, not special, just me, a van, and a few clients who trusted my work. I cleaned offices, restaurants, even rich people's vacation homes. Funny thing about success, it doesn't always come with applause. Sometimes it sneaks in quietly, while you're too busy surviving to notice. One of my clients, an older man named Richard, saw how hard I worked. He owned a few rental properties and asked me if I'd ever thought about managing them. That's how it started. A cleaning business turned into property management. Then came real estate. Then came everything else. Within 10 years, I went from sleeping in my car to signing checks with more zeros than I could have imagined. By year 12, I owned an oceanfront mansion in Malibu. The same kind of place Jason and Amanda used to drool over in magazines. It was a Sunday morning. The air was crisp, the sky pale blue, and the sea looked like it was painted for me. I was sipping my coffee on the balcony when my security camera buzzed. Sir, you have visitors at the gate, my assistant said through the intercom. Visitors? I wasn't expecting anyone. I checked the screen, and for a moment I thought it was a glitch. But no, there they were. Jason and Amanda. Older, thinner, worn down by something life clearly hadn't been kind about. They were standing outside the steel gates, the ones engraved with my initials. Their car looked old, dusty, their clothes wrinkled, and yet Amanda still had that same smug expression. Except this time it looked forced. Jason lifted his hand and waved at the camera like nothing had happened. Hey Matt, long time no see. I didn't answer. I just watched. He kept talking. We heard you live here now. Wow, man, look at this place. He chuckled, trying to act casual. Then came the part that made my stomach twist, and my lips curve into a small, cold smile. We're moving in for a bit, he said. Our house got foreclosed, and we just need a place to crash until we get back on our feet. I leaned back in my chair, sipped my coffee, and stared at the screen. Amanda nodded behind him, pretending to be polite. Family sticks together, right? She said. Family. That word felt like poison. For a long moment, I didn't move. I just sat there, listening to the sound of waves crashing against the rocks. 12 years ago, those same waves had been the only witnesses to my loneliness. Now they were witnesses to my revenge, the quiet kind. I pressed the intercom. Jason, I said calmly. He jumped a little, surprised to hear my voice. Matt, man, I can't believe it's really you. We're so proud of you. Stop. My voice was low, steady. You're not moving in. He blinked. What? Come on, we're family. No, I said. Family doesn't punch you in the face and call you trash. Family doesn't laugh while you bleed on their driveway. Silence. Even Amanda's face changed. Her fake smile slipped into something like fear. Matt, that was years ago, Jason said, his voice cracking. We were stupid. You still are, I said, cutting him off. You spent 12 years pretending I didn't exist. Now you need something, and suddenly I'm your brother again. He looked at the gate camera helplessly. Please, just for a few days. I smiled, not cruelly, not loudly, just knowingly. Because the best revenge doesn't scream, it whispers. Jason, I said quietly, you called me trash. But the funny thing about trash, sometimes it gets recycled into something priceless. Then I pressed the button. The gate made a heavy metallic click. Locked. He started yelling, banging on the gate, calling my name, pleading. Amanda tried to hold him back, but it was useless. All I could do was watch them through the security feed. Two desperate silhouettes, framed by the gates of a life they once said I'd never have. They left after an hour, tires squealing, voices fading into the wind. I sat there long after they were gone, staring at the horizon. The same horizon I used to dream about when I was broke and invisible. Revenge didn't feel explosive. It felt quiet, peaceful, like justice that arrived late, but right on time. A week later, I found out through a mutual friend that Jason and Amanda had filed for bankruptcy. They'd lost everything: the house, the cars, the life they built on arrogance and credit. And me? I didn't reach out, didn't call, didn't celebrate. Because revenge isn't about watching someone fall. It's about standing tall when they expected you to stay broken. Sometimes life gives you the closure you begged for. Sometimes it hands you the key. Or, in my case, the gate remote. And when that moment comes, you realize you never needed to hit back. You just needed to rise so high they can't even reach your shadow. So yeah, 12 years ago, my brother called me trash. Yesterday, he begged for shelter at my mansion. I didn't slam the door. I didn't shout. I just smiled and locked the gate. Revenge isn't rage. It's peace earned through pain.